where we actually have the problem and the issue, and which areas or places do we need to focus first. And then we can get into like some of the things I mentioned around, my bias, like I said, is if there's a provider group that has 30,000 patients attributed to it, I would much rather spend a year getting them on board with a value-based care contract that gets them to do it than go call up Landmark or Aspire or, vendor or whatever, and have them deployed to a market to do something to providers that are already in the market that should be engaged to help.
Right, helpful. And when we talked a little bit about more the boots on the ground, what types of service in general are deployed with boots on the ground? Is that just more focused on transition, post-acute, more of the episodic transition management, or you have, the boots on the ground resource also for longitudinal health? And if both, which one do you prioritize first?
Yeah, I won't get in, Kaiser's strategy varies by region and geography, but, it really varies by health plan. I have not seen because there's they just all have different, like the chief medical officer of one health plan could have a different philosophy from one another. One would say, we don't want to get into care delivery. We're going to find partners. We're going to deploy partners, but we're not going to own and operate a post-acute team. Another one may say, we should definitely deploy high-risk patient care teams, create a subsidiary. We're going to care for patients in their home. We're going to do all these things that the rest of the providers in the market aren't going to do. And then there's everywhere in between. It really just depends on the plan.
Got it. That's helpful. Let me
go ahead. That's it. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that was helpful, to get that overview. Let me pass it back for Dominique.
Yeah, and I just want to say I appreciate you articulating what you just did because you're right. There's a lot of things about health plan behavior that is heavily dependent on the preference and tenor of the leadership, whether it's the CMO or the COOs or whatever. And we certainly have heard that as we've talked to a variety of different people in this space. So in getting kind of past the who and the what and that kind of thing, and thinking about how vendors work with health plans and from the point of initiation, and you might say exactly what you said before, which is it really depends. But in just reflecting on your experience, and maybe the question isn't what have you seen, but what have you seen most effective in terms of a vendor being introduced to a plan either through an RFP process or through relationships that they have with leaders? Where have been the points of entry that you think have been most successful and that vendor then gets contracted with?
That's so interesting question because I've seen what's very powerful nowadays is if a vendor can go to a health plan and say the ideal scenario would be where we already have resources deployed in your markets that you're interested in serving. We'll go at risk because we believe and we'll put our money behind our effectiveness. We understand your data and your populations in a way that we know we can deliver value. It's hard for a health plan to turn that down unless they can't find a way to make that piece fit within their larger strategy. Short of that, it's any one or two of those pieces where the health plan's willing to go at risk, the vendor's willing to go at risk because they're behind it. Not all of them do that. The health plan's got to see that this is an issue. I'll use the Aspire example just now. Any health plan any Medicare Advantage health plan could run an analysis on their end-of-life patients and say they're losing their shirts. it's a really easy